Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Stories of Hope from the New Jersey Sharing Network. My name is Denise Peoples, and I am your host for this evening. Tonight, you are going to experience something very special. We have family members who are a part of this event, and each of them have their own story of hope. And tonight, you're going to get into what makes them who they are, what brought them to this place. And it is my distinct honor and pleasure to host this event. So, in case you don't know, you're watching us for the first time. New Jersey Sharing Network is the organ procurement organization for the state of New Jersey. Our mission is to save and enhance lives. We do it with pride, we do it with dignity, and we really do it with supporting all those involved, whether it be our hospital partners, our donor families, our recipients, the neighbors right here in the neighborhood in New Providence. It is our honor to serve. So, right now, we are going to get into this amazing conversation with these awesome people. So, let's see. Shawn, where are
Yes,
you, Shawn? All right.
over here.
Shawn, so can you explain what it's like to be waiting to be listed for organ transplant?
Well, it's literally um waiting for it's waiting basically for your life. It's I really can't tell you other than it just feels like your life depends on it. And that's basically what it is
Hmm.
because I'm waiting just to get on the transplant list. I'm not on it yet.
Hmm.
So it depends. It's a life depending wait.
That's great. That is great. It's a life depending weight. And I want to say that is just not a WAIT, but also a WEIGHT. I think that's how you spell weight, right? Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I think that is it. And that would probably be because you are actually waiting on what organ?
Double lung transplant is what I'm needing.
Double lung transplant, right?
Yeah.
And of course, those out there understand and know that someone has to pass in order for you to live. And
Yes.
that is a weight on someone who is waiting, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. But you're still hopeful.
Definitely.
Yes, yes. Okay, great. Anika, how you doing? Listen, how has your life changed after your loved one received a transplant?
So, my father received a kidney transplant, and my mother was actually his donor. And so, last summer, he received his transplant, and both of them were in surgery for like a few hours while I was kind of alone at home. But I think the wait was definitely worth it because as soon as his transplant was over, you can tell the difference almost immediately in his levels of energy and enthusiasm and just his stamina, and our overall lives and well-being, I think, have really been affected in the most positive way possible by this transplant.
That is great. Oh, what a wonderful story. I know all his gifts have to be extra special to your mother now, right? She reminds him, I hope so.
Definitely, every chance she gets.
Right. So, Pastor Reverend Cedric McKoy, what would you say to someone who may be hesitant to register as an organ donor for religious reasons?
Hmm.
I would suggest to them that um, as as a person of and the religion with that has a religious background or is a Christian, um, that your body does not belong to you. Our bodies are of Him, of Christ who gave it to us. So, and another thing is, some people feel like, well, what is going to happen to me the day of resurrection, and I don't have a heart, or I don't have a lung, or I don't have a. What happens to the person that doesn't have a limb? The Bible says that we shall be changed, right? And we are spirit, and we don't worry about our bodies. We're going to leave them here. We are spirit. So someone that's hesitant on giving because of religious reasons, it's an act of compassion. It's an act of love. And the Bible said that there's a difference between compassion and empathy, right? Empathy is how we feel, but compassion is the action that we take because of the empathy, because of the feeling we have for someone else. So I would say don't be hesitant, but if you can give because it's a gift. It's a gift. It's a gift that God gave us His greatest gift.
Absolutely. That is wonderful. Just want to remind all of you that are watching, put your questions in the chat. We want you to ask questions. We are looking for it, and definitely comment. And let's make this a big family discussion. Okay. The energetic one, my friend Sam Prince. What goes through your mind, Sam, when you think about the organ donor who gave you a second chance at life?
Hey, Denise, it's great to be on here tonight with my fellow members right here of Stories of Hope. So I have tons of mixed emotions because on one side, I'm very grateful for the opportunity of a second chance at life that I get to live and honor my donor. But at the same time, I think about the gift that my donor family gave. They gave a selfless act to give while they were going through a devastating time of, unfortunately, their child died.
Wow. How do you deal with that? Where do you put that energy?
I put the energy every day, whether I'm at school, whether I'm riding a bike, but most of all, I put my energy into promoting the power of organ donation everywhere I go, school, sports, out to eat, whether with my friends, everywhere I promote the power of organ donation. I promote my story and I tell everyone why you should become an organ donor. I've been telling people that since the third grade. I got my class involved in something that I have called Sam's Lemonade Stand. We sold lemonade to the rest of the school. Everyone bought $1, and we raised over $600. That was in third grade, and I've been now speaking for the Sharing Network. I got to go to California with actually Amy's family, Team Sorrentino. These crazy things that I would never got to do without the power of organ donation. I've been honoring my donor and spreading the power of organ donation wherever I am. Wherever I go to college next year, it's not gonna stop. I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna bring why you should be an organ donor to everyone I meet. Everyone that I meet will know that I got a heart transplant and will
Excellent.
know that they better become an organ donor if they have not done so already.
No strong arming. No strong arming.
Okay, no, lightly.
Lightly. I got you. I got you. Oh my goodness. Amy Keefe. Oh my gosh. What a amazing woman with an amazing story about a brother who is a legend who gave the gift of life. Amy, please tell us. Let me see. Your question is, how did you first get connected to the work of the Sharing Network?
So my days with the Sharing Network began in March of 2016. My brother suffered a traumatic brain injury during an accident at work, and it was an unsurvivable injury. So without us knowing, my brother had registered to be an organ and tissue donor on his driver's license, and the Sharing Network marched into our lives that day. They introduced themselves and became what I like to say, our person. They became the person who sat with us and made memories and did amazing things for our family. And we are forever grateful for that.
That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Your brother was a registered organ donor.
Yes.
And one of our other panelists, um, I believe, had to make that decision. Marcia, what was the driving factor in you saying yes to donation?
It was a family decision, but mostly it was more about giving back. Um, my brother passed away from, he had a stroke, a massive stroke. And at first, my dad was hesitant about giving his organs. But when New Jersey Sharing came in the room, they had informed us that he did have it on his driver's license, but I think they left it up to the family if we wanted to do the donation. Um, I thought about it for a quick second, but I knew it was the right thing to do. And um, I'm so happy that we did go through with it, because not only did he give his right and his left lung, his liver, and his left and right liver, and a kidney. He donated so much to so many people. Was such an um, heartfelt feeling that I had when they came back and told me so many people was able to use his organs.
Yes, what an amazing gift. Gifts. I remember
Hmm.
when Marcia and her family came to, this is before everything got crazy with COVID, pretty much during,
Hmm.
and was able to come in during our donor family event that we stretched out over a couple of days. Her family came, and Marcia kept the secret on how many people
I did.
her brother saved. And at the wall, looking at his name, she revealed it. And I thought her father was going to pass out. He was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And he was so happy about that. So it just brings joy. It brings stories of hope for other people who are watching. And we really appreciate that you all are here and that everyone is watching. Don't forget, put your questions and comments in the chat. So we do have a question from our audience asking about Donate Life Month. We are going to push forward. Hey, Elizabeth, your question about Donate Life Month. This is a month that is recognized nationally for promoting and spreading the word harder and just getting everybody involved to celebrate the lives that were saved, to remember those who we may have lost while waiting, and to definitely celebrate those donor families who gave the gift of life. So, Donate Life Month has many different things on our calendar that you can be a part of. Make sure you check out our website at njsharingnetwork.org. And you can see there are many things that are going on. The 22nd, go find your cutest ladies and your hottest and slickest blue and green, everyone, and just strut around anywhere you go. And if people ask you why you got on blue and green, or tell them, because Sam is just going to tell them why he wearing blue and green. But make sure you check it out. That's our Blue and Green Day, and it's also Earth Day. Can't get no better than that. So make sure you check out our website for so many different things going on this month at the New Jersey Sharing Network. So, Shawn, back to you.
Yes.
What keeps you encouraged while waiting? Not just waiting, but you are waiting to be listed.
What keeps me encouraged is first and foremost my faith, knowing that there's hope that I can be a recipient of double lungs, the hope that there's a new life waiting for me. Um, it's going to be a life after death, so to speak. So that's the hope for me, a new life.
Mhm.
And it's unfortunate that someone has to pass in order for me to gain this new life. But I guess this is the cycle of life.
Mhm. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Let's see, Anika, what did you know about organ donation and transplantation before your father needed an organ and told that they needed an organ? What was that like?
Yeah, so when I was actually pretty young when I found out that my father had a chronic kidney disease. And so I didn't really know all too much about what he was going through. And when I found out he needed a transplant, organ and tissue donation was something that was completely foreign to me. I wasn't really taught anything about it in school, or I didn't really have any experience with it in other facets of my life. And so it kind of seemed like this really scary concept. Um, just the thought of someone giving away a part of themselves to save someone else, like it was incredible. It was like incredible to me, but it was also extremely daunting. And so I think going through this personally really opened my eyes as to like exactly what organ donation is and how it works, and just the many benefits that it has.
Absolutely, absolutely. Pastor Cedric, so do you have members of your congregation that have been affected by organ and tissue donation?
Yes, I do have members of my congregation who are affected. I have a very young man who's waiting on a heart, and has been waiting on her heart for some time now. It's so funny. I was in a service on Sunday, and as I'm sitting there, I'm looking around the room, and I saw at least 6 people there that I know were recipients of a kidney, a heart, lungs. Some I invited to watch the show on this evening. So there is hope, beyond where we are and what we feel. And we just continue to be prayerful that, they do at some point get on the list. And, I've even reached out to you from time to time. Like, how can I get on multiple lists, right?
Right.
Do we need to change states? What do we need to do to make this happen? Um, yes, right within our congregation, we do have a member who is at this time we're very prayerful for, and we know that God was going to answer that prayer.
That's great. I was privileged to go to Pastor Cedric's church, and it was just for a table display. And when I tell you, at least 12 people signed up to be organ donors.
Wow.
I mean, they bum rushed that table like, "Yep, we want to do it. Yep, yep." All ages, all ages. So it's amazing how when faith leaders lead the example in their congregations, in their synagogues. Sam's rabbi is amazing, totally amazing. The one before, the one he has now. So yeah, faith plays a part in it, and it's just great how everybody works together in order to make it happen. I just want to let you know that any materials that you want to receive to help us promote not just donate life month but all year long, you can definitely go to our website and get that information. You can put things up like posters in local coffee shops and just make people aware of how many people in their area need organs and tissues and can save lives. Okay, so just get in touch with us and we'll supply you with everything you need. Thank you, Linda, for that question. Appreciate it. So, Sam, where do you think your story and advocacy have been most effective? So, are we talking school, your synagogue, family, or community? And tell us how.
Denise, that's a very complicated question. I've been affecting people's lives, just telling my story and becoming organ donors to check off the box. But if there's one specific instance, I have to talk about November 2019, where I gave a speech for Donor Sabbath Month at my temple, where you actually were. And this one woman came up to me and told me how touched she was after my speech. And when she got home, she was going to become an organ donor.
Wow.
Well, sadly, in early in the pandemic, she got COVID-19 and she unfortunately passed away. And because of me and the power that I gave in my speech, she donated some of her organs.
Amazing. Amazing. That's a great story. How someone feeds off of somebody else's story and it changes their mind, it changes their outlook. They can visually see what organ donation can do. Much peace to her soul, her family, and what an amazing person. So there you go. Let's see. We have a question for the from the audience. Linda Hardy. Thank you all for sharing. Besides a driver's license, how else does one become an organ donor? Well, of course, you can stand in the line at motor vehicle. And of course, we on our website, you can go to NJ Sharing Network /register. And you can go there. You can go to registerme.org. You can, I'm sorry, Android users. Just a minute for them. You can go on your iPhone and register. We always had a battle between, iPhone and Android. But soon, I promise you, one day, far down the line, probably Android will have it. But there's always, right, Sam. So you can also um, put it in your living will, your advance directive. So those are different ways you can. But out of everything we're saying this evening, one of the most important things is to have the conversation with your family. Start the conversation. You would be surprised who in your family may be organ donors and they never discuss it. So make sure you do that and, pass out all the information that you're learning tonight from all these amazing people. And let's see, we're going to go to one more. Let's see what this one is. Who is that guy? Is that Max Prince? I know him. What do you say to someone who is hesitant to donate because they are afraid the hospital won't save them because they are on the, I guess, a registered donor? So let's see who we're going to see here. I know who. Let's go with Amy.
Well, hi guys. Thank you, Max, for that question. This is one of those common myths that I think, a lot of people are concerned about when talking about registering to be an organ donor. I've done a lot of things around high schools and colleges and things like that. And whenever I ask the question of the number one reason why people won't register to be an organ donor, they do say is because they think that, someone won't save them. So in order to answer your question, I will explain to you that being a nurse, I can tell you that you need your organs to be alive in order to be transplanted. So if someone was not going to save you and they were going to let you pass away, along with you passing away, your organs would pass away as well. So I can assure you that all the healthcare teams in all of our hospital partners will do their absolute best to save your life. And if the time does come when we are to have a conversation with you about organ donation, I can assure you that they would have done their very best.
Great. Absolutely great. Now, you said something that you are a nurse. That's one of the most amazing people in the world, I must say. I love nurses. So, Amy, what inspires you most about your role at the New Jersey Sharing Network? Tell people what you do.
So I am the manager of authorization and family services for the Sharing Network. And my job, my role is to be out in the field speaking to families at the time when it's most difficult for them. What inspires me about my role is there's a lot of things, but I will tell you, just from us being on here tonight, I can tell you that people like Shawn, seeing her suffer and knowing that she's waiting, and the people that are waiting on that list every single day inspire me every day to be out there talking to families of organ donors. People like Sam, who have received a heart and are living and loving life and spreading the word. Those people inspire me so much as well. And I really honestly have to say that the donor and the donor families are one of my biggest inspiration, because the generosity and the way that they are honoring their loved one in their final moments is definitely one of the most inspiring things for me.
That is beautiful. That's beautiful. Hey, Marcia, how do you think Maurice would feel knowing how he saved and enhanced lives and saved lives?
I think he would be proud. He was like a kid at heart. So something like that, he would be ecstatic, overwhelmed, and mostly he'll be proud that something like this is going a long way and people are knowing about it, because they did an article on him, and a lot of people have been touched by his story.
Beautiful. That is great. Oh my gosh, that's great. So let's see. Shawn, let's go back
Yes.
to you. What impact, if any, does your health have on your family members?
Whew. The impact that my health would have on my family members is that I would be a burden to them, as far as them having to take care of me and take shifts in doing so. So that would be a major burden, because no one wants to be a burden on anyone else,
Mhm.
So I feel that that would be the biggest impact on their lives. And the fear of seeing their mother being not herself, not healthy. So that would definitely be an impact upon them.
Okay. Yes, yes. Anika, Have your views on organ donation changed, and how so?
Yeah, I think definitely my views on organ donation have drastically shifted. I personally believe that like you don't really fully understand something unless you go through it. And so I think going through this journey with my family, even though I wasn't the one who was directly the donor or the recipient, I think my views on organ donation have definitely changed. I went into it thinking it was some scary, huge process, and I wasn't sure what the outcome was going to be. And both of my parents were going into surgery at the same time, so it was obviously pretty daunting. And I'm also an only child. But I think that my views on organ donation I have so much respect for anyone who chooses to donate an organ and give the gift of life to someone else. And also so much respect for the recipients who are waiting on transplant lists, waiting to get the organs or tissues that they need. And so, yeah, and that's why I want to make it, my mission everywhere I go to tell people my family story and to just convince people through my story and through the stories of other people to become organ and tissue donors.
That's great, Anika. Thank you. So please make sure you're asking questions, comments, questions. We welcome them all. Put it in the chat. And our panelists are waiting for you. They want to know what you want to know about them and about their stories. Nothing is off limits. We want you to talk back to us. All right. So let's see. Let's go back to Amy. What is a popular myth about organ donation that you would like to dispel?
Okay. Well, I mean, we already talked about the driver's license and not saving our lives, so we'll move away from that. I think another popular myth about organ donation is that you wouldn't be able to have a funeral or a wake or have the services that you would want to have for your loved one because of the organ transplant surgery, and that is a myth that I would definitely like to dispel. Obviously, my brother was a donor, so I saw that, with my own eyes. But I mean, having people say that to me, I would like everyone to know that all of your services, funeral services, however, your loved one is not maimed or hurt in any way. It's a very simple surgery, and it's done with the utmost dignity and respect.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for that, Amy. Because a lot of people have that concern. You and I have been on cases together, and that would be some of the things that we would hear amongst many others. And we don't look at people differently when they have those concerns because they're real to them. And I have watched Amy walk a family through every question 50 times over. One thing I can definitely say is we do not leave a family. We stay with families even after a no. Just
Yeah.
so our audience knows that, even after a no, our hearts are open wide for those people going through the hardest times of their lives. And we just, it just makes sense. If we're going to save and enhance lives, then it's everything that encompasses that. And Amy definitely is I can't talk. She represents the fact of being very supportive of families. So let me see. I got another question let's see, Marcia. Have you met the recipients of your loved one's gift? If not, do you want to?
I have not, and I would love to. I have spoke about it. I thought about it, and I went extra step to find out how would I go about doing it. Um, but that's something that I discussed with my family, and it's something that we would love to do.
Yes. So do you know like the process? Is it something that has to be agreed on both sides?
That is correct. I would have to write a letter to the recipients and see if they accept my letter, and then they would let me know if they would want to meet me. So it has to go both ways. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I think I'm going to go back to Amy for this question. Okay. So Amy, I know, right? Being a donor family, what do you think? What do you think the hesitation is sometimes with donor families connecting, writing back with, to that recipient?
So for us as a family, when Brad donated, my family was okay with just knowing that he saved lives. We definitely did receive written correspondence from them, letting us know the various things that, you know, his recipients are able to do now because of my brother. I think that we did definitely write them back. So we do have correspondence with them. But I think that I may not have written a letter first to talk to them because, again, I feel sometimes these situations, you know, recipients don't know what to say, donor families don't know what to say. I think it doesn't necessarily happen overnight. I think that's the biggest thing too. I think over time, you'll find it in your heart and the words will come out. But I don't think that necessarily it needs to happen, you know, immediately. Some families, you know, wait years before they actually contact or have correspondence.
Right, right. But it's amazing that you did reach out. And it's a very emotional meeting and emotional thought. Sam, what about you?
So I actually wrote my donor family a letter last year when I hit my 10th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
I got my transplant when I was 8 years old, so I still didn't know what to say. It was the hardest thing I ever did. Thank you is never enough. You gave a life to me. I can't just say, okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. No, words can never express how much gratitude it is. And as Amy said, it's a long process. I have not gotten a response back. I'm hoping one day I get to meet them. I will write them again soon. I just hope one day we get to meet and my donor family gets to see that the priceless gift that they gave in tough times paid off.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen that being a part of family service. I've seen that here at the Sharing Network. And people have all these questions and all these things that they want to say. And as soon as that other family gets here and they hear the knock at the door, the words go out as soon as they open that door. They just look at each other, they hug, they cry, they laugh, and it's just a beautiful sight. So keep hoping because they're going to get in touch with you. I promise. I know it. I believe it too. All right. So listen, Shawn,
Yes.
what things do you look forward to after your transplant?
Well, the first thing that I would look forward to is being able to breathe without supplemental oxygen. Taking that first breath, that would be the first thing that I look forward to. And the second thing is just taking life one day at a time and treasuring it because it truly is a gift. And since being on oxygen, I feel like it's a chain and ball, a ball and chain, and it's weighing me down. But that's my best friend. That's, she goes where I go, and we're inseparable.
Yeah.
But
All
the
right now.
first,
Yeah.
yeah, the first thing is to take that first deep breath of air and relish it, as I will with the rest of them.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Anika, you are a volunteer for the Sharing Network. I love it. So, what are some of the activities that you are doing or plan to do to help spread the word about donation?
So, directly after my father's transplant, I started. Obviously, this was still during the COVID pandemic, so I didn't really have that much contact with people. So I started telling my story to my close friends and the extended family around me that I could reach, and I just told them our story. And I think just through hearing our story, they became so inspired, and they were really genuinely interested in learning more about organ donation and how they can go about registering. And so this year, when I went back to school, I decided to start a Donate Life Club at my school. And so I've sent a proposal for that. Hopefully it gets approved. And yeah, the purpose of that is just going to be to raise awareness and funds for organ donation and to educate especially teenagers and those my age who will grow up to be the adults of tomorrow.
That is beautiful. I love it. So, everybody who's watching, Donate Life Clubs are student driven extracurricular activities in schools. They think of all the different ways to spread the message about organ and tissue donation within the school and the community around it. Say your organization in your community is having a health fair. The students, the Donate Life Club can take their information out there and be a part of it. So it's not just in the school, but it is also in the community where the school is. And we supply all of the information for those clubs. So if you would like to start a Donate Life Club in your school, make sure you check out our website and we'll get back to you and make sure that you get started and have everything you need. One thing you'll need from your school is an advisor, a faculty advisor to be there for the club. But other than that, we help you with any ideas you have, any kind of literature. So Donate Life Clubs are very powerful. And thank you, Anika, for starting a Donate Life Club. Thank you. So we have a question in the chat for Reverend McKoy. Let's see what that is. Sharon McIver. What more can be done within the faith-based community to dispel myths and encourage more to register as an organ donor?
I think education. Education is the key. And also, let me piggyback on something. Sharon McIver received a heart and a kidney, and I invited her here tonight. She did meet her donors about a year ago, and she was so excited to meet them. And I wear several hats. So the nurse said something about funeral services. I've been in the funeral industry for 29 years, and yes, you can have a funeral. So I think it's education. I think education is the key when it comes to dispelling that myth and getting other pastors to have a donate. I didn't know there was a Donate Life Month. So I'm glad that Ms. Peoples told me about it. Denise told me about it. So, and I didn't know there were clubs in schools. I work in a high school, so I'm going to bring that back to the club, the head of the club advisors at the high school I work at tomorrow, to talk about that as well.
That's great.
So I think it's education. I think education is the key. Letting people know, I see people 20, 30, 40 years old pass away from all different types of issues, right? And their families, they're at that most vulnerable moment of their life. It's hard to talk about that, right? Because they're so upset about the situation. But if they know that they can help somebody, I read up on this a little bit before I came on a couple weeks ago when I was asked to be on, and I realized that one person can save 8 lives, right? One person can save 8 lives. So if you know there's 8 different people walking around with a part of your loved one within them, that education alone dispels that myth. So it's education. It's education.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is with organ donation. And with tissue, you can enhance the lives of 75 or more people.
Wow.
That's amazing. So thank you for that. And being an advocate in faith-based, in schools, in funeral home directors, and amazing, totally amazing. And Sharon, there's no need of you thinking you're going anywhere because you're going to be on the next StreamYard. Okay. He got you in trouble, Sharon. You're ours now.
I have Mark Exum watching as well. He's a musician within the church, and his niece gave him her kidney a few weeks ago. He's watching as well. And a very prominent pastor within New Jersey just received a heart and a kidney. And I was so glad to see him Sunday in worship. And he's back to preaching. He's back to doing seminars and things. He's doing well. He said that he's a hoopty with a new engine. He's 70. He's 70 years old with a 38-year-old heart. So
wow. Sam, he's gonna pass you up.
Please,
yeah. Sam now has competition. Speaking of which, of faith-based leaders and their gifts, there is a rabbi out of Teaneck, and his name is Rabbi Ephraim Simon, and he gave the gift twice. You're like, what? Wow. Yes, as a living donor, he gave 1 kidney, and a few years later, he gave a piece of his liver to someone. So he is amazing, and he wants to do it again, but I don't think his wife is going to let that happen. I think he's given all the gifts he's going to give, but he really informs his congregation about the power of organ and tissue donation, and they can see it. They can see it for themselves. So let's see. We have a question for Amy about the matching from recipient to donors. Can you give us some information about that, Amy?
Okay, so I will give you the most basic information about that. Really, just so you know, our clinical department at the Sharing Network, we're always on site working with, healthcare teams in order to make a transplant happen, because I'll be honest, it takes a village. And in doing that, there's blood work involved, there's blood typing involved. Blood types need to match, sizes need to match. But basically, there is a list. And when someone like Shawn registers and eventually gets on that list, her name will appear on that list. And as we go and move through that list, debating on, size, blood type, things like that, that we're inputting into that list, they will make a match. And then we will speak to the coordinator on the opposite end. And hopefully we'll be able to move forward and get that person an organ.
That is great. That is great. So, a question about that, and I've had this question before, is the order of the list by need or by order?
So most of the list is by order. There are some situations where people who are more sick and unfortunately are really close to not making it. Hopefully they're well enough to get a transplant. That's a problem as well. I think, Denise, you understand that, sometimes when you're really, really sick, your body just can't handle a transplant. So, there's a lot of factors that go into who gets the organ. And I think that, again, the level of how sick someone is, are they able to receive the transplant, do their blood types match, all of that go into, but everything is registered. It's all, everybody's watching it. It's on a UNOS list. So, there's basically, if you register to be on that list, when it's your turn, you'll be called.
Great, great. So we've talked a lot about faith. So, Marcia, how did your faith play a part, role in your decision, your family's decision?
Well, mostly me. My faith is very strong when it comes to giving. My dad and my brothers, they have that faith as well. But my faith was strong because I know that giving this gift to someone would be a blessing. And also, it was something that I thought about myself, giving my organs. And when this happened, I had no doubt. Like, that's something that I really want to do. And I know that when I do it, that it is going to give a reward to so many people.
Yes, that is beautiful. Yes, yes. So, let's see, Reverend McKoy. Personally, have you ever been affected by organ and tissue donation?
Not organ or tissue donation. 10 years ago, I had an aortic aneurysm, and I have a artificial aorta. I was blessed. My wife was 8 months pregnant, and I found out that I had an aneurysm. And I guess the nurse can attest to what this is called watch and wait. So my doctor watched and waited. Every week I had to go and have a scan done. And when my daughter was a month and a half old, I had aneurysm surgery. So I don't, I have an artificial aorta. So I don't know if that's considered an organ or tissue, but I'm grateful to be here 10 years later, and I'm doing great. I'm doing well.
That is great. That is so amazing. So, don't forget, we are definitely wanting those questions and comments. Make sure you send them to us so that we can pick the brains of this amazing panel. So I have a question in the chat for Marcia. As someone who is the sister of your late brother, how do you personally and your family feel knowing your brother saved lives?
Personally, we gratitude. We have gratitude. We're grateful to have given so many organs to save so many lives. It's an ongoing process. It's something that we enjoy and talk about every day.
That's beautiful.
So if we had to do it all over again, I would never question it.
How beautiful. And Marcia's family does celebrate. The first time I met her, they came to the network and it was on Maurice's birthday.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that was
yeah,
that was so beautiful. That was
yeah.
really beautiful for them to see, you know, get to see the network,
Yeah.
understand, what it was and
Mhm.
everything. And they took pictures, together. And then when they came back for the donor family
Mhm.
celebration, they were able to see his name at
Yeah.
at our facility, and it's really beautiful. It's
And we
really
also
beautiful.
did the walk, Denise. Don't forget the
That's
walk.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. They
Yeah.
did. They did the walk. What walk are you talking about? That's right. We got 5K. We have a 5K. I can't wait. Of course,
Yes.
we were a little bit, staggered during the pandemic, but
Mhm.
every year we would do something to continue the excitement of our 5K. The first year, we just had the team captains. Then the next year, we kind of opened it up a little bit more, but we are hoping, and we used to have two before the pandemic. So last year, we just had one. We were very calm. We still filled up the parking lot rather well, I must say. But this year, oh, all bets are off. So May and June, May is on the beach in New Providence, I mean, in Long Branch. What? Just to walk on the beach. It's so beautiful. And you get the same feeling of honoring those donors in just a beautiful atmosphere. So please make sure you check our website out for our May walk and then walk run, should I say. And then in June, we have the biggie right here in New Providence. We can't wait. So please come be a part of an event that is more than a 5K. It is truly a celebration of life. So we hope that you all will come, join, make teams, come on out, be loud, cry with us, laugh with us, remember. And if you don't have a team, there's this team called the Breathing Easy team. Who would be the captain, I wonder? That would be me. Check out our website. Sam, don't say a word. Amy, hush. My team is the one, okay? Join the Join the Breathing Easy team, all right? So, yes, let's see. We got a question from the chat. Okay, the dates are May 15th and June 5th for our 5K. So, check out our website. You can get all the information. You can go right there to register to be at our 5K. I'm talking food trucks, music, writing with chalk on the ground, and just a lot of great things. So please come out and join us. So we have a question for Amy. Can you speak about the confidentiality of donation process for those who may be concerned about that?
Yeah. So I hope this answers the question that you're asking. So confidentiality is 100% a big part of donation. I've had various things happen. Sometimes a family, wants to scream it from the rooftops. And of course, we're there for that too. We support that 100%. We light up the buildings. We raise flags. We do everything we can to let everybody in that building know that there's a hero there. But if a family does not want us to tell anyone that their loved one is to be a donor, whether it's for personal reasons, religious reasons, family reasons, not everybody in a family is always supportive of donation. And sometimes, what a legal next of kin might feel about donation and how they want to move forward with it might, be personal to them and they would like it to be kept confidential. So your donor, and your confidentiality is 100% part of our process if that is what you need, and we respect your wishes 100% with that.
Thank you so much, Amy, and thank you, Sharon, for asking that question. New volunteer for the Sharing Network. Check out our website for Advocacy Night, Sharon, because yeah, you are now part of this family. So, listen, I got a question, Anika. So, why do you believe it's important to spread the word amongst fellow students and your peers?
So I think that obviously it's important to spread the word to anyone who's willing to listen, but I think especially spreading the word to students and peers who are especially my age, like the formative years of their life, kind of education about these kind of things. Organ donation is kind of a concept where you either know a lot about it or you have like some misconceptions or misinformation or just like a lack of awareness. And so I think education for people who are my age is so important because we're at the age where we're going to be making these big decisions. I know that right now I'm taking a driver's ed class, and when we're 18, we're going to have the option, along with our driver's license, to register to become an organ donor. So those kinds of decisions can only be made, I think, if you have the education and the awareness surrounding organ donation, even if you choose not to. Just the fact that you have this information so that you can make the most educated choice possible is very important.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. That is so, so true. So, I have a question. Let me see. Marcia. So, when talking about the gift of life, what is one thing that you'd like people to know or remember?
Good question, Denise. Um, that it offers us a privilege, opportunity, and a responsibility to give something back. And not only that, it is we get the ability to choose
Mm,
when giving back. So um, the generosity and the love to doing it.
beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So, I have a question for everybody. Give me your short and sweet answer. What is the definition of a hero? Let's start with Sam.
Denise, that's a tough one. I'm still thinking about that. But the definition of a hero is someone who helps someone in the darkest of times and someone who can help someone really at any time. My hero is my donor family because they helped others, not only me, and they donated their child's organs in the darkest of times when their child unfortunately passed away.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Shawn,
Yes.
let me ask you a little different question. What advice would you offer someone who is waiting for a transplant?
The advice that I would give to someone who's waiting for a transplant is to be patient. Wait. Continue to be patient. Be prayerful. And just know that it will happen, not in your time, but in God's time. So be
Beautiful.
patient, continue to take care of yourself, and be patient some more.
That's it. Amy, what is your definition of a hero? You're on mute, I think.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay.
I am going to use a quote from Joseph Campbell that we have on the back of our Team Sorrentino shirts because my brother is my hero. And I believe that a hero is someone who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself. That is the best definition that I can think of a hero, and that defines my brother.
Absolutely. Reverend McKoy, how about you? What
I
is
think
your definition of a hero?
I'll say a hero is someone who acts to alleviate the suffering of others.
Mhm. Beautiful. Anika?
I think everyone else summed it up pretty well, but I would say that a hero is someone who puts other people before themselves, even when it's not easy, and the easy choice isn't always the right choice.
Wow, that is beautiful. And Marcia, what is your definition of a hero?
A person who is admired and idolized.
Beautiful.
Um,
Yes. Yes. So, do we have any more questions? Any more questions coming from our amazing audience? Any more questions? Please check out our website. We have a great amount of things happening. Um, we have our hero program going on right now, and so many things that you can get involved with, not just this month, but all year long. So, wait, we have a question for Amy. What's the average weight for kidney transplant, Amy?
Mm. Oh man, you're gonna get me on this one. Uh, I don't know what the average time frame is. I know it could be any time up, years, unfortunately. I
Mhm.
know that just in New Jersey alone, there's between 4 and 5,000 people waiting for a transplant. So I think I can add to this by saying be a hero and register to be a donor.
That's right. That is right. Beautiful. These were hopeful stories, stories of hope. They are windows into the wonderful possibilities life has to offer. Stories of hope bring life uh, to life the ways in which people support each other. Uh, Miracles make lives better, and individuals find new roads through challenging times. Turn stories about hope whenever you need an encouraging boost on your path towards your best life. Annually, over 6,000 people die waiting for a transplant, and these people didn't have to die from incurable diseases. Many of them could have been saved if more people made the decision to say yes to giving the gift of life. Without the organ donor, there is no story, no hope, no transplant, no Denise, no Sam. It is none of those things. But when there is organ donation, there's life that springs from death, sorrow turns to hope, a terrible loss becomes a gift, and I am honored to be your host tonight for Stories of Hope with the New Jersey Sharing Network. And out of everything I said, make sure you have that conversation with your family. Check out our website. And remember, there is no greater gift than the gift of life. Breathe easy. Thank you all. Good night.
Good night.